Chris Lynch News. Book your vehicle service online at airparkcanterbury.co.nz.
Well, the stink in Christchurch's eastern suburbs, in fact many other areas of Christchurch suburbs, continue. So what can Environment Canterbury do, and what is their part in all of this compared to what the Christchurch City Council can do? Well, to discuss this and an update for you is the Chair of Environment Canterbury, Dr Deon Swiggs. Deon, thanks so much for your time.
Hi Chris, how are you?
Very well, thank you, sir. I think it's important for the viewers for you to explain what your part in this is compared to what the council's part is.
Yeah, it is really important to differentiate the role between the two councils. So The regional council's role and the city council own this asset. It is their asset. They need to do the compliance, and they need to make sure that as part of the condition of the consent, which the regional council gives to the city council, that there is no odour or smell or stink leaving the boundary of their facility. So it is their facility, and that's part of their conditions. And obviously what we've seen over the last couple of weeks, there has been a bit of odour, well, a lot of odour, leaving the boundary of the sewage treatment plant, which is where our role comes in from a compliance point of view. So now we need to step into that space of what is the compliance and what is going wrong in that space, and working with the City Council to make sure that they can get back into compliance so that it's not affecting residents in East Christchurch especially, but also in other parts of the region or in other parts of the city. And I say region because we have had complaints coming from as far as Lincoln and Rolleston as well.
Actually, that's a good point, Deon. So how many complaints roughly has Environment Canterbury received so far?
So over the weekend, we had 2,000 complaints. Since about, I think, the 26th of January, when this really started to get bad, we've had nearly 4,000 complaints. And yeah, that's quite a large amount of complaints.
Okay, so it's obvious the Christchurch City Council is breaching compliance rules. Environment Canterbury have issued some sort of abatement notice, but what can that actually achieve, Deon?
So it's really important that there is an investigation going on by our staff. We had 14 field staff in the field over the weekend, so 14 of our staff were in talking to residents. So it wasn't just about compliance for us, it's also to talk to residents, especially in those worst affected areas, so that we can both understand what it's like in those areas, but making sure that they feel like they've been listened to and that there are people taking this seriously. Our organisation is taking this seriously. From what we can do, we can't force the council to shut a major facility down like the sewage treatment plant. That's just unrealistic. So we need to work with the City Council to understand how will you get back into compliance? What steps will you do? So that's what we're going to be asking the City Council to understand what that is. And then hopefully that can be communicated to the communities and to the wider city about what those steps are, because it's really important that people understand what's going on there. I do know that the City Council will have a work program that's to replace the trickle filters that were burnt down. What is that? And let's understand that so that everybody is on the same level playing field.
Deon, by all accounts, it sounds like to me nature's going to take its course and the smell will eventually dissipate, perhaps in the next couple of weeks by the sounds of things. The trouble is, I was speaking to Christchurch Mayor Phil Major yesterday, and he really couldn't give me any reassurances, particularly given the fact this problem, he admitted, could happen time and time again, and we're not looking at a time frame until 3 years before the treatment plant is actually finished. I mean, that's a long time to wait, isn't it? So realistically, residents right across Christchurch could be facing this problem again. Does that concern you? And what advice can you give them, realistically?
Yeah, it does concern me, and this is where we need to understand exactly what the Christchurch City Council is going to do to make sure that they get into compliance, because it's really important that we've had health advice from the Ministry of Health. So I asked for the Ministry of Health, and we've had the Medical Officer of Health from across New Zealand put out a statement, and you would see that statement. It was on their website, or on the Canterbury Ministry of Health website, saying that the odour will cause headaches, nausea, and some of the residents have said that they feel sick, they haven't gone to work, and it is causing very real issues for people. So that's why we need to understand and make sure that how can the Christchurch City Council get back into compliance. I can't go into what the details of an investigation and what outcomes might go, because I cannot prejudice any form of outcome that may happen in that space. But it's up to the Christchurch City Council to do the work so that the stink is not leaving its boundary. And that's really up to the Christchurch City Council to do that work. They need to come out and say, this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to manage the stink, and this is the time frame to expect us to get back into compliance fully with this major facility that we all use. As soon as we turn the, flush the toilet, we all flush the toilet, it goes there and it's now affecting other people.
So are you convinced, as the Chair of Environment Canterbury, the Christchurch City Council staff are going to be able to solve this issue from what you've been told by staff?
We've asked for the information, and I can't go into saying what I believe. I do not want to prejudice any potential outcome for what the investigation will be, and we need to be very careful about about saying things like that. But I want to get the information, and then I want us working with the City Council to share that information so people have a better understanding of what is happening, and then down the track what that may look like for people, especially in Eastern Christchurch, and who have been affected by the smell for some time.
I know that you've been to areas that have been most affected. For those who have no concept of what it's like for the residents, just briefly explain that for us.
It's horrible. So I live in the central city, and on the Thursday night last week, it was so bad that even my eyes were stinging, and I'm not in the worst affected area. You go out to closer to the sewage treatment plant in the last few days, your eyes do water, they do sting. You just feel putridly unwell inside. So I do empathise and understand how people are feeling, and for all of those residents that are affected, from my side, we're sorry for how this is affecting them. It's not good enough. So let's get on top of it. Let's make sure that it doesn't happen again, and let's get a clear path moving forward about what the long-term solution looks like.
All right, Deon, and since we've got you here, you've also got an update for us on the situation with the boat off the coast of Akaroa there as well.
Yeah, so over the weekend we had the incident with the Black Cat ferry that needed to be grounded because it was taking on water. The phase one of the recovery was to move it out to deeper water. That was paused because it was lodged onto a rock, so it hasn't been able to be moved into deeper water at the moment. So there is ongoing recovery about what that means, because the last thing we want is for it to break up on the shore and for a bigger environmental disaster, or not a disaster, but a bigger environmental impact, especially for sensitive environments within that marine sanctuary. So the recovery option, or the recovery work, is not happening today because of the bad weather. There's a bit of a swell out there, so there are teams that are monitoring it. The work will happen when we can get back to the site to make sure that it's stable, and then long term, hopefully what will happen is that they can lift it and then get it out of the water so that it can be fully recovered.
Dr Deon Swiggs, the Chair of Environment Canterbury, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Chris.